For those of you with weak stomachs to find something else to do for a couple of minutes, because some of the students at CU are out to make us and themselves sick. Our Boulder County Bureau team, Lisa Allen and photographer Kyle Epler, witnessed the annual rite of spring known as Alferd Packer Day.
What's going on inside this building here has got to be one of the most disgusting, grotesque, degenerate things going on any campus in the United States today. And the people who are participating in it, quite frankly, are loving it. Our first indication that something was going on was the huge crowds and all the noise. Now, that wasn't bad, but then the Alferd Packard Food as Art exhibit caught our attention. That's gross. We decided to press on, naively thinking that things just couldn't get worse. After all, a college education does give kids some class and finesse. Wrong. The contest proved that. For example, the raw meat eating contest.
And they're off. Those are different techniques. Really effective. The water technique, I think, is very effective.
And next, the cherry pie eating contest, which you might think would be fun to do or at least watch, but it wasn't. Actually, Alferd E. Packard, Colorado's very own convicted cannibal, would probably have been proud of these kids today, not only because they were commemorating him with every ounce of intestinal fortitude they could muster, but because they were really just out to have a great time in his name and in his honor. Reporting from the Boulder County Bureau, Lisa Allen, 9 News.
Pac-Man comes to life in Newsreel tonight. Take a look.
It's Alferd Packer Days on the campus of the University of Colorado, honoring the original Pac-Man who managed to stay alive in the mountains for days over 100 years ago. Nelson Pruitt was the winner of today's Alferd Packer Lookalike contest. By the way, the original Pac-Man stayed alive by eating his companions. Happy Pac-Man Day.
Today is Good Friday. In Boulder, it's also Alferd Packer Day. Alferd Packer, of course, the Coloradan who was the last American ever convicted of cannibalism. In Boulder, Alferd Packer is someone special. He's honored annually as hundreds of Boulderites mob the Packer Grill on the CU campus. Many of the celebrants take part in contests where they eat everything from pizza to raw meat. Today, a life-size bust was unveiled, which is expected to be displayed permanently at the state capitol.
They say it's a tasteless affair, but somebody's got to do it. So once again, these students at the University of Colorado celebrated Alferd Packer Day by holding a raw meat eating contest and a meat toss. And this is the 14th year in a row they've commemorated Colorado's only convicted cannibal, Alferd Packer. Packer's past is a shady one. He was the only one to survive an 1883 trek into the Uncompahgre Mountains. A judge convicted Packer of eating his friends.
Now that's getting to the meat of the matter, isn't it?
Oh.
Tonight in Newsreel, a misfitting tribute to a man with a strange appetite.
A great man of Colorado immortalized today at the Capitol. I'm speaking of the one who's not moving. It's a bust of Alferd Packer, donated to the Executive Chamber by Governor Lamb. You remember old Al. He's the one convicted of cannibalism. Now he's a folk hero in the Rockies. Some may agree with you, Gov, that it's a fitting tribute. Others may have a bone to pick, since he probably only ate Democrats.
Of the famous today in the historic halls of the state capitol. Governor Dick Lamb presided over the unveiling of a Colorado legend. His name? Alferd Packer. Yes, the same Alferd Packer who admitted eating traveling companions after being caught in a storm in the late 1800s.
I was so cold and hungry right then, I couldn't even feel. So I cut some flesh from off those men. I cooked it for my meal. Now those men would do the same as me. It's man's will to survive. And if I hadn't have eaten their flesh, well, I wouldn't even be alive.
The bust was commissioned by the University of Colorado, where it will permanently be displayed. It was sculpted by Tom Miller and will be on display at the Capitol until this coming September.
Alferd Packer, serving his fellow man for 100 years.
I'm
Colorado history.
Not going to touch that line, I'll tell you.
Head of Campus Affairs, CU students presented Governor Lamb with a limestone bust of convicted cannibal Alferd Packer, the man they called the world's original Pac-Man. Before the governor unveiled the bust, student Robert Anderson sang an original song chronicling Packer's distressing tale.
21 men left Provo in the winter of '73. Their destination, Breckenridge on the Colorado Gold Spring. For some of them would never find the riches in that land, for it happened that Alferd Packer was traveling with that band.
Packer apparently cannibalized 5 men to survive a snowstorm. A jury later sentenced him to 40 years in prison. Although Packer's actions may be difficult to swallow, some CU students appealed to Governor Lamb to pardon Packer. The governor refused. But when Lamb accepted the statue from the students, the governor remarked that Packer looked well fed. The bust will remain in the State House until September, when it returns to the Boulder campus of CU.
When I was told this morning that I was doing the Alferd Packer story, I had a funny feeling it was a meaty thing I could really get my teeth into. Sorry, folks, no more ribbing. Now, as you can see, I have gotten into the mood of this whole situation with my Alferd Packer t-shirt and also my piece of raw meat. Now, for those of you waiting for me to take a bite of this meat, you've got yourself a long wait, because I'm not going to join these loonies up here for the news. Michael Scott reporting from Boulder, Colorado.
Always a lot of fun. Alferd Packer serving his fellow man since 1878.
Another unsolicited testimonial, right?
Great Colorado's most famous cannibal. I'm Lori Everett. Details next on Newswatch 4.
More than 10 years now, the University of Colorado has paid tribute to a very special man whose tastes may differ from yours and mine, Alferd Packer. Lori Everett has been here in Boulder for Alferd Packer Day all day long. What kind of activities?
Officially, Morris, it got underway about 10:30 this morning with everything from a rib-eating contest to a Packer snacker competition. Most of that is going on behind us at the Alferd Packer Memorial Grill. This is one of the more popular events. These contestants are vying for the honor of being the fastest eater in Boulder. No points awarded for neatness. The rib contest is only one of dozens of events which lasted most of the day in commemoration of Alferd Packer, who, to the uninitiated, was Colorado's most famous cannibal, convicted way back in 1874 of devouring 5 of his companions during a mining expedition. This helps to explain the dual mottos of the celebration: keep your eyes on your thighs, and Alferd Packer, a man after your own heart. Cast members of a soon-to-be-completed movie about Packer showed up too, perhaps to pick up a few pointers. The rib-eating award, meanwhile, went to a CU student from Maryland who said he had been in training for a week and apparently set a new speed-eating record for Packer Day. From Boulder, Lori Everett, Newswatch 4.
And believe it or not, they'll do it again next year. Took part in a rib-eating contest in the Alferd Packer Grill in the Memorial Center. They've been doing this for 10 years now, but just in case you never heard of Alferd Packer, you need to know that he was the lone survivor of a gold expedition back in 1874, and it later was discovered that he survived by eating his 5 companions, which led to the most often heard mottos on Alferd Packer Day: keep your eyes on your thighs, and Alferd Packer, a man after your own heart. The winner of the contest, incidentally, was a student from Maryland who said he'd been training for weeks. Alferd, I'm sure, would have been proud.
That's a tough act.